When you leave the herd won't like it. That's right. When you actually get to the top of your game and you become in the top 10% of this industry, you'd think you get some support from your colleagues, but nope, that's not the case. The more you succeed, the bigger the target is on your back. Low producers are like crabs in a bucket. When one tries to leave, it'll literally cut off its leg. Heck, it will kill the crab before it lets that crab crawl out of the bucket towards freedom. This is why you can never forget who you're actually serving, which are your clients. I'm making this video to support the agents that actually make this industry work, the ones who actually show up every day to work, do the work, and actually sell houses. I'm going to lay out in this video 8 specific things to look out for, such that you don't get manipulated by agents that pretend to be your friend, but are actually your enemy behind your back. All right, now before we jump into this conversation, if you're watching this video and you buy into this idea that you are going to become a top producer, but you're not there yet, you're not making $100,000 a year, you're not making $10,000 a month on a consistent basis, I just launched the Listing Agent Toolkit. Yes, that's right. I'm going to offer some way to help you, which is what you should be doing every day in your real estate sales business. So there is a link in the description. You can grab that right now. This is everything you need to build a 6-figure listing agent business. All right, so let's talk about the first point, which is what happened when all the NAR settlement changes were going into effect. Now, this was, for me, this was so clear. But at the time, there were so many agents that wanted to argue to the death around this point that now has become just everyday business. And that is that this whole thing around buyer agent compensation being offered up inside of the MLS on every single listing, which, as you all know, like I've been saying for years, that it won't matter. It won't change anything. And so many got so mad at me. But here we are, business as usual. There are no buyer agents commissions being offered on any listing in the MLS. And oh, what's happened as a result? Nothing. Real estate commissions, if anything, since the changes have gone into effect, have done what? Oh, that's right. They've gone up. Now, here's kind of what the argument was when all these were going into effect. Agents wanted to argue with me. They wanted to debate with me that, offering a buyer agent up front inside of the MLS was the only way that houses would actually sell. And if you wouldn't offer a buyer agent commission inside of the MLS, that these houses are not going to sell, that buyer agents are not going to show the property. That is all crap. Now we know that is all BS. And this whole thing around agents saying, well, you know what, Brandon, why are you not looking out for the industry? I'm looking out for the producing listing agent who actually brings value to this industry, not the bottom feeders that want every top producer to do their job for them. And so now fast forward, not only are there no buyer agent commissions, but here's the norm. The norm is listing agent goes to the property. They negotiate what they charge to represent the seller, and the buyer agent gets to negotiate his or her own commission. Now, why is this the first point? This is the first point because at the time, agents got confused on who the listing agent was actually representing. So many buyer agents were getting so upset at me and others that were advocating for who? Their client. They're like, well, what about us? And what about us? You're not going to offer a buyer agent commission? Well, no agents are going to show your property, blah, blah, blah. Each agent needs to represent their own value to their own client. And so the reason why I bring this up as point number one is as real estate professionals, as you say you are, your job is to be a fiduciary for who? The client. The client. If your focus is to make buddy and friends with all the other realtors in the market at your client's expense, you are not going to last in this business very long. That doesn't mean that you need to be, nasty to people, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, with this first point, is that realtors have an obligation to serve their client. All right, now point number 2. This has to do with all the Karens in the industry. What I mean by the Karens are the agents that are literally on a witch hunt. These agents literally have nothing else to do but to pretend to be compliance police. You know the agents that I'm talking about. These agents are out to get top producers. They're watching every post they put on social media. They're watching their every move. They're watching all of their open houses. And, they look at all your listings. Oh, you said the wrong word in your MLS. I'm turning you in. I love the Karens. I'm turning you in. It's so funny. They pretend to police the real estate agent community. Why? Because they don't sell any houses. This is their way of tricking themselves into thinking they're being productive somehow. I don't get it. I don't understand, but it happens all the time. And so if you're winning at a high level, they're coming for you. The Karens are coming for you because they cannot stand, which we'll talk more about this later in the video. They cannot stand to see other people succeed. And as they see those other people succeed and they can't, they think, oh, you must be doing something wrong. You must be breaking some rules here or there. You must be doing something wrong. How can you be selling 3, 4, 5, 6 homes a month? And I haven't sold 6 homes this year. I'm coming for you. Point number 3 is what I call broker manipulation. Now, your brokers, and not all brokers, but a lot of brokers, take advantage of producing agents. They put them on some made up, what do they call them? These made up leadership boards, right? They want them to do a bunch of work for 0 in return. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Some companies are worse than others, but they go to all the top producers in the office. Again, every brokerage is made up of the 80-20 principle. 20% do 80% of the production at most real estate brokerages. That's how it's made up. And those brokers go to these top producers that don't know any better, and they suck the life out of them. It's like, hey, I can't train my agents. I don't sell a lot of houses. So let me go to you, Mr. Top Producer, and get you to do my job for me and pay you nothing for it. This is what I mean by broker manipulation. I want you to come speak to all the agents. I want you to mentor all the agents. I want you to share all your secrets, all your best practices with all these low bottom feeders. And what are you going to get in return? Nothing. You're not going to get anything in return. I'm going to put you on this leadership council or something, or I'm going to give you made up, I don't know, some these promises in the future that may or may not ever happen. Point number 4, what I call new agent vampires. What are new agent vampires? These are the agents that will suck the life out of you if you let them. These are all the new agents that have no remorse. They're like children. They will take and take and take. They will knock on your office. They will distract you. They will, the got a seconds. Hey, can I pick your brain? Do you got a second? All the time with no remorse. No remorse that you're actually trying to fight for your goals. You're actually focused. You're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing to win at a high level. They have no regard for that whatsoever. It's all about me. Heck, this is all about you giving me your knowledge. And I'm not going to pay you anything for it. I don't want to hire a coach. I don't want to make that investment. I just want to go steal the life out of top producers for free. I want to take and take and take and take and take with no remorse. And guess what? Guess what? The best thing that you can do for these low producers that want to pick your brain is tell them no. This teaches them more than anything you tell them anyways. Why? What does it teach them? Well, what you do is proof of what you believe. In other words, if you're a person of discipline and focus, you have the ability to say no, so that when all these people want your time and they want to take you to lunch and grab a coffee and blah, 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 and you say, you know what? No, I'm on a schedule. I'm prospecting. I'm in a prospecting block. I can't do it. And as a result of me telling you no, let that be the example for you that because I'm saying no, it's not because I'm mean, it's because I'm focused, which is what you should be doing. You should be saying no to most things. And so that's been, in my experience, it's like when I explain that to an agent, they kind of get it. You see, what type of role model would you be if you're prospecting? You're in a call block, and you're supposed to be prospecting from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and you get the hey, I'm Johnny. I'm a new agent. Do you got a second? And you say, yeah, sure, Johnny, come on in. And you put the phone down when you're supposed to be focused. What does that show, Johnny? That shows, Johnny, that your accessibility is easy. You are not a person of discipline. You are not a person of focus. You are a person of distraction. What did you teach Johnny? You taught Johnny to be the same exact way versus saying, you know what, Johnny, I right now is not a good time. I'm actually in a time block. I'm blocking my time right now to focus on prospecting. I can't do it right now, but maybe we could talk later. He walks away and says, wow, he learns more through that experience than anything you were going to give him on some tips or advice that Johnny is never going to do anyways. Number 5, training your adversaries. Okay, now here's what I mean by this. Here's what I wrote down. I said that hiring sales agents on your team because you have the idea that you want to make money in a business of selling houses without actually selling houses only leads to one thing, which is that these agents take advantage of you. They learn all your secrets. They steal all your intel. Oh, and yeah, by the way, they're going to steal all your people when they leave. You just end up training the same people who later in their career are going to compete with you. Now, I love competition, but I don't think it's a smart business strategy to train the very people who want to steal from you. Steal your best ideas, steal your clients, steal your best people, go after your assistants, all of that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You have to be aware of that. That's a separate video on what to do when it comes to scaling your actual business. But this is something for you to be aware of as you start to produce. Number 6 is about exploiting new agents. So new agents that are watching this video right now, that are the ones that are showing up every day, who are the future of this industry, the future 1%ers, this one's for you. So the industry will manipulate you. How? Well, number 1, I wrote down. They will bamboozle you into thinking that you must work with buyers, that somehow you cannot work with. As a matter of fact, it's true. Some people will tell you you are not allowed to work with sellers until you work with buyers for X amount of time. Why? They know better because they don't want to work with the buyers. They'll say, well, we'll take advantage of the FNG. He doesn't know any better. She doesn't know any better. She doesn't know that working with buyers is miserable. She doesn't know that. I know she got into this business for freedom, but she doesn't know that working with buyers is like being in a prison. She doesn't know that yet. So all she wants is to show houses. Let's give her all the buyers. And so they lie to you and say, nope, you got to work with buyers. How dare you go and focus on listings? Some of these people will tell new agents. It's unbelievable how they take advantage of new agents. Next point I wrote down is on the compensation structure. These agents don't know any better. Here's what we know. This is what they do. I've been in the rooms. They don't know any better. What we do know is that when these new agents come into the industry, they'll quickly do 3, 4, 5 transactions with their friends and family. Let's take as much of that commission as possible. We'll say that we'll mentor them, and we'll take a huge chunk out of that compensation for their first couple of deals because they don't know any better anyways. The industry doesn't teach these people shit anyway. So they're going to need our help, and we can just take all the money because we know that most new agents, after they go through their sphere of influence for their first year, they quit anyways. So let's take as much from them as possible, as fast as possible. Next, the other way that people exploit new agents is lead hoarding. They get all this opportunity into their business or into their team. They use the "I have leads for you" to attract new agents that don't know any better. Or they don't know how to generate their own leads. But what they're signing up for are the crumbs. You see, what happens is they get all the leads and they take the best ones. Okay, let's give these to our top people, and let's give the crumbs to these dumb idiots that just started. They got to pay the price. We all had to pay the price, so they got to pay the price. And so they give them the crap and they run around. They're on the hamster wheel. They don't get anything until one day they say, wait a minute. They have this Wizard of Oz moment. They say, these aren't leads. These are people that filled out a fake form that don't want anything to do with buying or selling a house. So anyways, let's jump into point number 7, which are the reputation killers. These are people that spread rumors and try to get other people to hate you. It's only natural. These are the haters. These are people that are so unhappy about themselves. They're so unhappy with their own results that they can't help but to spread false, negative information about everyone and anyone who's winning around them. It's the only way they can feel better about themselves. They literally cannot handle anyone succeeding around them. It brings them too much pain. It's like holding up a mirror to them as they're staring their low production right in the face, their lack of focus, their lack of discipline, their lack of commitment. And you put it right in front of their face and they cannot handle it. They cannot handle it. So they spew venom into the world about top performing people because they themselves can't do what the top producers are doing. So because of that pain, they spew. It's like a reflection that when they see someone succeed, they have so much pain that they're not succeeding that all they can do is spew hatred towards that person. It's pure envy and jealousy. That's what's going on. It's witnessing someone else's success that triggers feelings of that envy, especially if it highlights that person's unfulfilled aspirations that they've told everyone about. These people who feel inadequate tend to belittle those people to boost their own, what they want to say, self-esteem. And so they want to point out some false flaws of others because they attempt to feel superior when they know they aren't. Which brings us right into point number 8, which is unethical recruiting. This is when people use confidential information that either you had told them at some point in your career or that they got somehow, and they use that information to get people to turn on you. So this might mean that you have something private in your private life that no one knows about, that they somehow know because maybe you worked with this person and you let them in a bit and they left working with you, and now they've got some insights and they use those insights that they should not be saying to anybody else because at the time you shared things with them with confidence, and they use that information against you to turn people against you. This is what they are doing behind your back. Or people will go to great lengths, including breaking the law, in order to recruit, to have unethical recruiting practices. They will talk about things that clearly break RESPA guidelines. They'll share in revenues. They'll share in compensation in ways that are clear violations just to lure your top talent away from you. This is what your competitors are doing behind your back every day. And so, what's the point? Well, you don't owe agents anything, because here's the raw truth, my friends. In most cases, people are not looking out for you, they are looking out for themselves.